The morning light spilled softly through the curtains of the small suburban home, illuminating the quiet stillness that had replaced months of anxious anticipation. It was a silence unlike any other, charged, sacred, trembling with the promise of new beginnings. The house, once echoing only with the gentle hum of the refrigerator and the ticking of the hallway clock, was now alive with a faint, fragile cry, a sound that would forever change everything. In the cozy nursery, Emma sat in a rocking chair, her tired eyes glistening with tears she couldn't quite explain. She held her newborn daughter close to her chest, feeling the tiny heartbeat against her own, as if two souls had finally aligned. The baby's name was Lily, chosen long before she arrived. Emma had whispered it to her belly every night, long before she ever saw her face. Now, here she was, a real, warm, breathing and impossibly perfect. Downstairs, Mark was fumbling with the coffee machine, trying to remember if he'd already poured the water or not. His hands trembled not from caffeine withdrawal, but from the surreal weight of everything. Just 12 hours ago, he'd been holding Emma's hand in the hospital, whispering words of encouragement through her tears and pain. He had watched their daughter take her first breath, heard that tiny cry that broke the silence of the delivery room, and in that moment, he felt something shift inside him, something primal, unexplainable. Now, as he looked at the small pink blanket folded neatly on the couch, he realized how unprepared he truly was. He had read the books, watched the videos, listened to friends boast about diaper hacks, but none of it captured the magnitude of this new reality. Parenthood wasn't something you learned, it was something that happened to you, all at once, like a sunrise that blinds and warms you at the same time. Emma's mother, Diane, had arrived just before dawn. She had let herself in quietly, moving around the kitchen with the ease of someone who had done this before. There was something calming about her presence, something that reminded Mark of stability, of continuity. As she brewed tea and set out slices of toast, she hummed softly to herself, a tune from a lullaby she used to sing to Emma. When Emma came downstairs with Lily swaddled in her arms, Diane's eyes filled instantly with tears. She didn't speak at first as she just reached out her arms. Emma hesitated for a second, reluctant to let go, but then she handed Lily over, watching her mother cradle her granddaughter for the first time. It was a sight that made her chest tighten with emotion. 3 generations connected in one gentle moment. "Welcome home, little one," Diane whispered, brushing her finger over Lily's cheek. "We've been waiting for you." The rest of the morning unfolded in a blur of warmth and chaos. There were feedings, diaper changes, visitors dropping off gifts, and the endless chorus of cooing and congratulations. Mark's sister, Natalie, arrived with a stuffed giraffe almost as tall as Lily's crib. Their neighbor, Mrs. Wilson, knocked on the door with the homemade casserole, insisting they just heat it up and dressed. By noon, the house smelled of baby lotion and lavender soap. The once tidy living room was now cluttered with bottles, blankets, and the half-assembled swing that Mark had sworn was supposed to be easy. Yet amid the disarray, there was a rare kind of beauty, a mess made of love and newness. When the afternoon sun filtered through the windows, Emma found herself alone for the first time since coming home. Mark had gone to lie down, and Diane was in the kitchen cleaning up. Lily slept peacefully in her bassinet beside the couch, her tiny mouth twitching as if dreaming. Emma leaned back, exhausted but unable to close her eyes. She thought about the past 9 months, every appointment, every anxious night, every hope and fear bundled together. She remembered the first time she felt Lily move, the first time she heard her heartbeat echoing through the monitor. She had imagined this day over and over, but nothing had prepared her for the flood of emotions that came with it. It wasn't just joy, it was awe, fear, love, and responsibility all swirling together in her chest. The world felt fragile now. Every sound, every breath carried meaning. She found herself constantly listening, making sure Lily was still breathing, still there. It was as if a piece of her heart now lived outside her body, and she would spend the rest of her life protecting it. When Mark woke up, he found Emma sitting cross-legged on the floor beside the bassinet, humming softly. He sat beside her, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "She's really here," he said quietly, almost as if afraid to disturb the stillness. Emma nodded. "Yeah, she's home." They watched Lily sleep for what felt like forever. The rise and fall of her chest was hypnotic. Her tiny fingers curled around the edge of the blanket. For the first time, they both felt the gravity of the moment. Everything they had been before were the couple who took spontaneous road trips, who binge-watched shows late into the night, who argued over whose turn it was to do laundry. Felt like a different lifetime. Now, they were parents. That night, when darkness settled over the house, the reality of it all deepened. The nursery glowed softly under the nightlight shaped like a moon. Every creak of the floorboards sounded louder. Every sigh from the baby monitor made their hearts jump. At 2:13 a.m., Lily's cry pierced the quiet. Emma jolted awake, her instincts already propelling her out of bed. Mark followed, groggy and unsure, as she scooped Lily up and began to rock her gently. The tiny wails softened as Emma whispered soothing words. Mark stood helplessly for a moment before offering to warm a bottle. They were clumsy, uncertain, but learning with every movement. When Lily finally drifted back to sleep, Emma placed her gently back in the crib. She stood there for a long time, watching her breathe, the rhythmic rise and fall like a lullaby of its own. Mark came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "Do you realize," he whispered, "that we made her?" Emma smiled faintly. "It still doesn't feel real." He kissed her temple. "It's the most real thing in the world." The following days blurred into each other, feedings every few hours, sleepless nights, and endless moments of wonder. Friends texted congratulations, their phones buzzed with well wishes. But time seemed to move differently now. The hours were measured not by clocks, but by Lily's tiny routine, as her cries, her yawns, the way she scrunched her nose before sneezing. One afternoon, as Emma sat in the nursery rocking Lily, she caught her reflection in the window. She looked tired, dark circles under her eyes, hair unwashed, but she also could a broken bar complete. She realized that love didn't always feel like fireworks. Sometimes it was quiet, like the rhythm of a heartbeat or the warmth of a tiny hand wrapped around your finger. Mark joined her, holding a small stuffed bunny. "You know," he said, "I used to think love was something you fell into, like an accident. But this a broken bar. This feels like something we built." Emma smiled. Brick by brick, as the days turned into weeks, the house began to feel different, and not just because of the baby, but because of what she brought with her. There was laughter now, unexpected and frequent. There were late-night whispers, moments of panic, and the kind of exhaustion that felt strangely sacred. Every day was a lesson in patience and grace. One evening, after another long day, Emma and Mark sat together on the couch, Lily asleep on Emma's chest. The TV played softly in the background, but neither of them was watching. Mark reached over, tracing his finger along Lily's tiny hand. "She's going to grow up so fast," he said, a mix of pride and melancholy in his voice. Emma nodded, tears gathering in her eyes. "I know. I already miss her." "Hey," he said gently, "we're right here, all of us, right now." She looked at him and smiled through her tears. Right now is perfect. Outside, the world went and all the cars, the numbers, the hum of distant life, yeah, but inside that little house, time seemed to stand still. Every sigh, every cry, every heartbeat echoed with meaning. The newborn days were fleeting, but they were golden. And though they would fade into memory, this first chapter, the moment Lily arrived home and made them a family, would remain etched in their hearts forever. Because home wasn't just a place anymore. It was wherever Lily was. It was wherever love decided to live.